Hello out there and good morning. This is the newspaper review here on TAP TV. Of course, this is where we analyze and dissect trending and catchy headlines every day. We are the streets of Port Harcourt. Of course, we want to get to hear the opinions, the analysis and the thoughts of people on different newspaper stands, people walking on the road as regards politics, economy and the headlines on the newspapers. My name is Obed Jerry, your host for today. Let's look into the newspapers and see what the headlines got for us today. Alright, today Thursday, the 18th day of January 2024. Let's look and see what the headlines got for us today. First, we'll be looking at the Nation's newspaper. We see at the top story here reads, Obi of Onitsha tackles Soludo over suspension of monarchs. Details is found on page 6 of the Nation's newspaper. We see here, Why I Want to Succeed, Obaseki by Igodalo. Details is found on page 27. CBN to crack down on forex violators. Details is found on page 7 also of the Nation's newspaper. We see here the main story reads, Gunmen kill airborne female vigilante. A very sad one, My condolences to the family of the bereaved. Details is found on page 26. Government sets to crash price of medicine. Details is found on page 6. It is illegal to pay ransom to kidnappers, government warns. Sub-story on it that reads, IG raises squad. FCT will be hot for criminals, says Wike. We see here at the bottom story reads, Abia Modular Refinery ready next month. Sub-story on it reads, Bayelsa decries poor tax compliance. Details is found also on page 27 of the Nation's newspaper. And that is all we'll be taking on the Nation's newspaper. Moving on, let's look into the Vanguard newspapers. We see at the top story here reads, Edo 2024, Igodalo declares shut down Benin. Details is found on page 12 of the Vanguard newspaper. We could see Assembly threatens Fubara over correspondence. Sub-story on there reads, complete screening of 9 commissioner nominees. Details is found on page 12. If this headline draws your attention, just pick a copy of the Vanguard newspaper and look into page 12 so you get more details of that story. Alright, still on the headlines here, we see Buhari defends Emefiele on Naira redesign. Details is found on page 8 of the Vanguard newspaper. We see lastly, FX backlog, CBN uncovers abuses, vows sanction. It is found on page 19 and that's all we'll be taking on the Vanguard newspaper. Right, lastly for the papers, the dailies for today, we'll be looking at the Guardian newspaper. We see here, outrage as Ibadan explosion exposes illegal mining, weak regulation. It is found on page 6. We see here this corner story reads, 36 oil firms record $425 billion windfall in 24 months, says report. This is found on page 3 also of the Guardian newspaper. Agbako tracks Tinubu on new constitution. Details is found on page 3. We see here families of abducted persons appeal to Tinubu, marking the over 100 million naira ransom. Details is found on page 8. Crowdfunding payment of ransom will worsen kidnapping. Federal government warns Nigerians, says. Details is found on page 5 of the Guardian newspaper. We see here, without security, we have no business in government, says Wike. Details is found on page 26 of the Guardian newspaper. Lastly, of the Guardian newspaper, we see here, Nigeria may borrow more to sustain discourse. Gain calls as NERC adjusts tariff. Details is found on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper, and that's all we'll be taking on the Guardian newspaper. Now let's get to hear the reactions and thoughts of people in the streets and know what they have to say about these headlines making rounds on the newspapers. Okay, good afternoon.
Yeah, well done, my brother.
I would like your thoughts on the Guardian newspaper that says Agbako tax Tinubu on new constitution.
Why is the tax for constitution? Nigeria worked with constitution before. The other constitution that is about to put is just to put constitution for tiffy money there, all the whole government workers. Because them themselves know that Nigeria are suffering. Are you putting constitution while the fuel is still going up? Where do you think the masses to survive on the constitution? It's not when the country is good before you put constitution to be amendment. Do you understand my point? So I see no reason why you will attempt to amend constitution. Is there any constitution that Nigeria have been using before? Everything in Nigeria have the value. So there's no constitution and there's no thing to amend. Because there's no amendment in this country we are now, in Nigeria. Everybody see that things are not moving anywhere. Everything is cost. From here to Lagos, you get up to 30,000 before you get a transportation movement.
And before that 30,000 would be enough for flight.
It's a flight to USA now. You know what I'm talking about. You know what Nigeria money. Now Nigeria is the poorest, the most poorest country that the economy have the value. Okay, come on. Let me just come to Ghana. We are going to Cotonou here. being by the Republic. Don't you see that their money is above our money? That Nigeria is the last currency that is operated, the last low currency that is operated in this world right now. If you check what I'm talking about, you go throughout the market or anywhere elsewhere, out of the country or in the country, you see what I'm telling you. The currency money we have in the country and in the world now is Nigeria currency. So due to because of our economy and bad, that's so much bad. You get me? So there's nothing you can tell me now in this government that don't do nothing. That don't just do nothing. And believe me, you when the government of this country continue by this one now, they will do nothing but nonsense in the country. You understand my point? So because there's no government in this country, you don't have any country because the Nigeria is a country that nobody controls them. You know what I mean by control? If you control people, you know that those people are controlling whether they're happy on you or they're not happy on you. Is that what I mean by controlling? You get me? So please, I have no time. I have to leave now. Let them change. That's my.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I would like your thoughts on the Guardian newspaper that says non-release of Supreme Court CTC judgment in Kanu's case violates constitution.
Actually, I think it does violate the constitution. But looking from my own perspective, I think what the executive arm of the government is trying to do is to linger him in the prison, not to allow his case to continue. Because it is the executive arm of the government that pressurized the Supreme the Supreme Court what to do. When they told the Nigerian judiciary is just totally messed up. The executive arm of the pressurized, they are the people that tells the judiciary what to do. We don't have a free justice here in Nigeria. Such like this that of Nnamdi Kanu, they will of course not publish the CTC. Even if they do that, they will linger it to more than 4 or 5 months. That is their job. We know what they can do.
But do you think there is any underlying reason why they don't want to release it aside lingering it? What's the reason for them wanting?
Because the struggle is very, very pure. In my place, I have not gotten light for like 3 months. In my place, for me to struggle to go and make out money, 1,500, 1,000 naira. And if I tell my brothers that these systems are just messed up, they will say it's not a system, that I need a grace from God, which is a bunch of stupidity. Nigeria is a messed up situation. The only man that tells us truth in this soil now is Nnamdi Kanu. And I don't think anybody is telling us truth that it's not Nnamdi Kanu. That's the only man that comes from heaven that tells us the truth, what is going on. Nigeria is a country that is so much endowed with too many mineral resources that can feed Africa as a whole. But we are seeing nothing. So if Nnamdi Kanu is speaking from an angle and a lonely place, he should be the one that is correct, not the 1,000 opposite direction.
Okay, one last question. This Supreme Court now, is it okay? Do you see it okay as them releasing the CTC true copy for the case to be continued, or a fresh case to be started, or it should just be granted?
They are not even supposed to grant it. They are not supposed to try any case on the soil called Nigeria. They are supposed to rendict him back to Kenya. Because Nigeria, except they see the true document of what they got from Kenya before they will proceed to try him in Nigeria. That is if the documents are there. But if the documents are not there, they cannot go to somebody's soil without a document, kidnap the person and bring it to Nigeria and say they want to commence trial. 2 persons cannot be wrong at the same time. One must be wrong and the other one will be right. So all systems in Nigeria to try Nnamdi Kanu is null and void. Send it back to Kenya.
Okay, if he let's deviate a little bit. If he's being sent to Kenya, they should go through a due process to get him
arrested in Kenya. Then bring it back to Nigeria. Then we commence trial here in Nigeria. But for this one they brought through the back door, it's illegal. It's illegal. I don't need to be a jury or a member of the jury to know this. It's illegal. It's illegal to the core, even to man, to God, to everywhere, even to daft like us. It's illegal.
All right, thank you very much. All right, I would like your thoughts on the Vanguard newspaper that says Assembly threatens Fubara over correspondence.
Please, may they allow this man to rule or finish. This man is a good man. But what you advance for Barada, our governor, may you no go fast like that, yo.
May you know
the fire speak. May you take him easy, so that that man will put him for seat, then go make peace, so that he go rule finish. This country is great as be. He won't show power. He go live until second tailor before he start the show power. This country is get as be.
Do you think Wike still has power over Fubara at the moment, even as Wike is an ex-governor?
Wike get cabals where they follow him. Anybody wey say Wike no have power, they make mistake. Wike still have power because it's the person wey him put for seat. He have power to draw him back. Please, Fubara, take am easy. Our governor, take am easy. Follow that man till you win the second tenure. He tell am say na you be governor.
Okay, this House of Assembly now where they act like say yes. Do you feel like say then they against Fubara or then they do the right thing?
Please, they know they do the right thing. Wetin make the camp is money. It's Wike push money for them. They the camp comot. But no problem. By God grace of God, Wike go Fubara go rule finish.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, this is where we come to the end of this show. You could be also a part of this show. You could subscribe, turn on the notification button, follow us across all our social media platforms so that when we drop videos like this, you could get to see it firsthand. My name is Obed Jerry, your host for today, and this has been the newspaper review here on TAP TV. Thank you.